Ladies and gents, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. What's going on? What's the happy haps? How are we doing? Welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the Friday Night Live show, people. Viewers, subscribers, lovers, friends, even possibly enemies tuning in, although I don't know why you would do. What's going on? We're back here again. It's me, it's you, it's people of the Booge in the live chat. What's going on? Who have we got in the live chat tonight? We've got Gareth, Richard Marsden, Steve Martin, Sarah Davies, Mojo Sabian's in the house. Did I see Peter Del Monte earlier? The man with the best name in the world. Peter Del Monte. Jim Speak is joining us. Diz is around. I've seen Diz's name. Diz and Mojo helping me man the chat. Hope you're all well. Hope things are going good. It's been a hell of a week again, has it not? It's been, the usual insufferable onslaught of news, current affairs, drama. Every pinch point of this week has felt like my disappointment couldn't reach any lower. But then it does. Against all the odds, it does. Somehow it manages it. Which is a sensibility only shared by politics fans, news junkies, Mission Impossible fans, and my father is familiar with that sensibility also. But what has been going on, guys? What has been happening this week? There's been no change in the polls. Really, give or take a point here and there. Nothing particularly interesting happening. No change in the polls, guys. Reform are still in the lead. There's no change in the papers either. The Mail still hate Meghan. We had the beginnings of what promised to be the world's shittest rap beef over the last 24 hours with Elon Musk and Donald Trump raring up at one another, which by now you would have heard about. You'd be familiar with it. You would have read the quotes and all of that. But I was thinking earlier how unique this one felt, because it's not rare that these individuals fall out with other people with whom they work or with whom they are associated. And Trump seems to hate everyone, doesn't he? Trump hates Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, the Bidens, CNN, NBC, immigrants, late night hosts, women, Muslims. He hates, pretty much everybody. But I was thinking how unique this one felt, this falling out, this beef. How rare it is that we get to witness a fight where we hope both of the people lose. Is it possible for both people in the fight to lose? That's what we would like to, that's what we're rooting for. I don't know how you could root for either one of these people. Trump and Musk. How could you root for either one of those? One is a crook, rapist. He should literally be in prison. Right now. He should be there. In jail. But he's not, because he used the American presidential election as the world's most expensive legal defense campaign, basically, is what happened. You know, O.J. Simpson's legal bills don't have shit on Donald Trump's. I promise you. With his $200 million checks flying in, and his crypto investment guys, and all the banks, and all the investors, and people buying his sneakers and his Bibles, and all of that just to keep him out of jail. Like, if Johnny Cochran was still alive, he'd fucking kill himself. The amount of money that Donald Trump had to raise to get elected just to stay out of jail. Christ. His defense bills, when you look at it like that. So that's him. That's Donald Trump. And then the other one, Elon Musk. The other one is a, he's a transphobic space Karen diamond mine Nepo baby who's radicalized himself on his own platform. That's who he is. That's who we're dealing with. And on top of that, he's a guy who seems to only occasionally take a break from all the disinformation on his own social media platform. He only takes a break from that when he fancies a little fucking staycation in a K-hole. So, I mean, who do you root for out of those two? When the sight of either one of them inflates my cheeks with vomit now. Like, the sight, I'm like, fuck it out. Like, if either one of these men, Elon Musk or Donald Trump, if either one of them got sick, like seriously unwell, or, maybe they got into a car accident or something like that, like either one of them, most reasonable people would turn up to the vigil with a candle to show moral support for the coma. That's what we're dealing with. Elon and Donald. This whining pair of fucking billionaire Nepo babies. Trading barbs with one another. And each one on his very own private, personally owned $billion social platform. It's like, could you be any more ridiculous? You got one of them going, nah, I'm gonna say that you're a pedophile on my X app. Meanwhile, you got the other one going like, no, I'm gonna say that you've gone crazy on my Truth Social app. It's like, do you hear yourselves? Do you have any understanding of how unbecoming and tragic and immature this behavior is from supposed world leaders? Like, the cringe is so strong. I am this close to my lower jaw just breaking up and swallowing my own fucking head. That's how strong the cringe is with these two. So that's been fun. That's the world's shittest rap beef between Elon and Donald. Elsewhere in MAGAland, while we're on it, I suppose, keep going. Keep talking about MAGA updates. Elsewhere in MAGAland, Trump announced a new travel ban on a few places. Al Jazeera reported it this week. It's Afghanistan, Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. All of these places are now on Trump's new travel ban, guys. It's very similar to when he last rolled out a travel ban on some countries. Do you remember that? That was in Trump 1.0. The first administration. He did the Muslim ban. Do you remember? I mean, I don't really know why they bother doing. Well, we all know why he's rolling out this sort of policy, don't we? Like, he'll do shit like this, and he'll say things like, you know, he'll call them a shithole country or shithole countries, and, you know, he'll try to make life harder for people of colour, won't he? And, you know, he does it basically to wind up to get the Proud Boys types sort of G'd up, doesn't he? The Proud Boys types in Texas and Mississippi, in the hope that they will look up from their TV dinners, and they'll see the Muslim ban and the rounding up the immigrants, and they'll go, yeah, we're getting back to the real America. Get the terrorists out. That sort of thing. So it's just a bit that, right? It's a little bit that. It's a little bit Trump's own racism. But it's definitely not going to do the American economy any favors, is it? If you think of Trump the businessman, Trump the New York investor, the guy that was on The Apprentice, the guy with the $1 billion bank account, who's supposed to run the economy in a smart way to get them back to winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to be tired of winning. It's a new golden age. All of that shit. I don't think it's going to do those guys any favors at all. To have the American, you know, immigration department, American businesses, people that are reliant on immigration being basically like, don't come here. Do not get on that plane. You are not coming in. You know, even though we desperately need you, we do. And even though our whole country, our whole economy and history is built on the exploitation of cheap foreign and domestic labor, regardless of that, you're not welcome. Smash cut to 2 years later. All the people in Texas and Mississippi are like, why is there no taxi cabs? When the fuck did it get so expensive to get a gardener? Like, what the fuck? And it's the same as over here, isn't it, right? Same thing in the UK. With the ignorant masses who continue to love reform. And they're rounding up the immigrants. And they all say that they want a truly like white Christian Britain back from the old days. Let's get back to the old Britain. Darren Grimes shares a lot of that shitstalgia stuff, as Otto English has termed it. We need to get back to the good old Britain, the Britain of yesteryear. But invariably it's one that they never knew or grew up in themselves, isn't it? It's an imagined Britain. It's a fan fiction Britain of yesteryear, of a time long since past. It's a nostalgia wank fantasy. Often heard dribbled out of the gums of people who say stuff like, I think we lost something though. Do you know? I think that we lost, I feel like we lost the real Britain. I was never asked about multiculturalism. There was no referendum on multiculturalism. I think we take things back to the old days when this was still Britain. I want my country back. All of that shit. I'd like to throw them in a DeLorean, you know, and take them back to fucking 1953 or something. I'd be like, here you go. Out you get. You're in 1953. You're in the good old days. Here, Lee, Darren, the rest of you. This is Britain in 1953, lads. Enjoy yourself. The country is significantly more white, that's true, but the favourite national pastimes are skin boils and smallpox. Knock yourself out! What else has happened this week? What else is going on? Have I got any super chats? Suppose I better check. Nip over to the live chat. Oh, I do. Okay. We got a super chat from Richard Marston. Trump versus Musk, chutney funnel versus turkey-based funneler. You're going to have to forgive me here, Richard. I'm not going to probe any deeper on that. Trump versus Musk, chutney funnel versus turkey baster funneler. I feel like if I keep repeating that, we're all going to have nightmares. Let's get back to the news. What else has been going on this week, people? Anyone in the live chat got any favourite news stories that have blown up this week? I mean, other than Musk and Trump, which I think we've all enjoyed, right? I mean, after Reform imploding, Reform's chairman resigning in a huff, and then Musk and Trump, that whole thing blowing up. It's like fucking Christmas yesterday, wasn't it? It was lefty Christmas. The WhatsApp chats that I'm on were just like, everyone was having a great time. I saw a story earlier, actually, I wanted to touch on tonight. I saw a story earlier about the investment bank JP Morgan. Guys, cheers. JP Morgan are one of the big banks in the city. But they're also one of the big banks in the city who have forced their workforce back into the office completely unnecessarily. They're mandating office-based work again. I think I've talked about this before. Their CEO, or like global head or whatever, his name is a guy called Jamie Dimon, I think, from memory. So that's them, right? They've got previous. That's the context. The FT, Financial Times of London, had a thing out last night now about JP Morgan furthering this campaign to make the workplace more hostile, is how I'm interpreting it. And this article I read last night, it says, JP Morgan Chase has told its incoming graduates that if they accept future dated job offers elsewhere within 18 months of starting, they will be fired. It says the revised policy, which is included in a letter sent to recruits due to start at the bank's US analyst training program later this summer, is the latest escalation of the Wall Street giants' battle with private equity firms over junior talent, it says. So they're having trouble keeping or hiring or retaining kids, 23-year-old, 24-year-olds coming to work for JP. It says, if you accept a position with another company before joining us or within your first 18 months, you will be cited notice and your employment with the firm will end. The note from Global Banking co-heads Filippo Gori and Doug Petno said, Filippo and Doug not fucking about. Guys, if you get a future dated offer at any time, could be a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, if JP find out about it, if Filippo finds out about it, you are fucked. Exited from the building. And it's so weirdly punishy, isn't it? I mean, I realize it's a stretch, asking anyone to feel, to lend their sympathies to the investment banking arm of JP Morgan. I know they don't necessarily need our sympathy. But doesn't that sound weird? Like, I'm all for talking about employment rights and, making the office a more pleasant place. It just seems so weird and over the top. I really don't want to sound like some lily-livered liberal who's completely out of touch with how things work or need to work in the real world, because I'm not. Like, I know how HR and recruitment run. I've got some experience in that world. But it's a bit like, if you want to discourage your staff from leaving, I would have thought the best way to do that would be making the company that they work for as pleasant as possible, like more pleasant, competitively pleasant versus some of the competition out there, right? But JP Morgan seem to be going for a different approach. They seem to be going for the come and work for JP Morgan. We are a big fucking bank. We'll pay you pretty good. Your salary will be good. It will be at least comparable to Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs and, right, it's the top tier, first tier investment bank. We're going to pay you well. You will not starve while working at JP Morgan. But we will treat you like shit. You are going to work long-ass hours. Long hours. You may even miss the birth of your firstborn son. That is a possibility. I'm not even exaggerating about that. I used to know investment bankers. Actually, I'm lying a little bit. I used to know a girl who worked at an investment bank who knew investment bankers. And she told me that she knew bankers who were not allowed to leave and they missed the birth of their firstborn son. That is the world that we're talking about. We're going to pay you pretty good, but there is a lot that we will expect of you for that. So you're going to work some long-ass hours. We will not trust you to put in a shift from home. We do not trust that you are working from home. We want to see you and observe you sitting at your desk, ass on seat, right? And if you take a look around and you should find something with somebody else, another company, another corporation, another bank, a private equity firm, a place that does trust you, that does let you work from home, that does respect you more, then we will fire you immediately. You just pack up your shit and get the fuck out. For failing to provide us with the respect that we definitely did not afford to you in advance. Like, it's so weirdly like master and slave, isn't it? That's what it is. It says, while JP Morgan does not single out private equity firms in this policy, there is an implicit reference to Oncycle Recruitment, during which buyout groups hand out jobs to graduates 2 years ahead of their expected start dates. There you go. A 2-year ahead of time start date. And this allows them to complete an analyst training program or like graduate training at an investment bank first. But then JP Morgan are like, if that's you, if that's what you're exploring, external, extracurricular, if we find out about that, you are fucking done. It's like, you're out the door, son. And I'm sure that to someone up on high in the upper circles of Wall Street in JP Morgan, I'm sure that on paper this makes sense to them, this approach to restrict people, not make it too easy for them to leave. But I look at this stuff like, you know, I'm a guy who works in the city in London. And I'm a parent who needs a little bit of flexibility. And I look at this sort of story and I'm like, you guys are looking at this all fucking wrong, man. Like, what is the actual problem that you're trying to solve here? You know, are you struggling to recruit? Is that the problem? So when these kids do leave, it's difficult to backfill them? Are you struggling to retain them? So is it, you know, they are choosing to leave? Because if that's the case, like, I look at it from my perspective and my background in like HR and recruitment. I'm like, has it crossed anybody's mind that it might be because of this weirdly overbearing attitude and these over-the-top policies like this that make your fucking staff feel like slaves, like they're fucking peasants, and it's making them go like, do you know what? Yeah, I might see what else is out there. It's not that outrageous to think that that's the conclusion that they're arriving at. Like, if I was running a big corporation now, I'd be unashamedly progressive about, I mean, I don't suppose that's going to shock any of you, any of the old listeners, the Patreons. But I would make it as progressive as I could do. You know, but like JP Morgan's profits last year were $58 billion. Doesn't that just make you sick? Doesn't that make your cheeks inflate with vomit? $58 billion is how much money that fucking bank made. They were up 18% on the year before. So it's like, if you're running that ship, if that's your budget, if that's the corporation that you are running, like if I was running that, I would be running an in-house creche for all the employees. So, that parents could get in and crack on and work from home isn't so much of an issue. I'd be running coding schools for their kids. So the kids are enrolled and it's really alluring. It's like, oh my God, I could really sort my kid out with this. This is cool. I'd run separate coding schools in like little deprived neighborhoods. The 10 most deprived counties or villages or towns in the country. Set them up with JP. Everybody would be like, oh my God, JP Morgan is the shit. Like they really do a lot. They really help people. People would be loyal. They wouldn't leave you then, would they? Because they'd look over at Goldman's. They'd look over at Morgan Stanley or RBS or wherever. And they'd be like, well, none of those guys do this stuff. Yeah, I like JP Morgan. I like their values. Not like, their current policy, as far as I'm reading in the FT, which is like, well, we've hired them and we're perfect. Everything here is amazing. So, if they're stupid enough to try to leave us, we should try and make everything really fucking hard for them. We should punish them. Like, that would discourage me from even applying in the first place. I realize as I say this, it is a stretch. Why should any of us care about what happens in the banks? But the working environments in banks kind of spill out into wider capitalism, don't they? And then before you know it, it's going to be like some guy in a cafe going like, oi, Janet, you like working in a cafe, don't you? You like working here. Janet's like, yeah, I guess. And you're like, okay, good. All right, yeah, I was just checking. And Janet's like, well, okay, right. You're like, it's just that. Janet's like, what? What's the problem? And you go, if I find out that you are interviewing at Costa, I will break your fucking leg, sweetheart. And Janet's like, oh my God. And you're like, yeah, there won't be any waiting on tables for you, love. You are here forever. Poor Janet's like, okay, Mr. Peters. And you're like, you're here forever. Don't you fucking now clean that up. That's what it's like. That's what it's reading like from the FT tonight. What else has happened this week? Should we change the subject a little bit? Read the room, Aid. I'm not sure people want to hear about your thoughts and musings on the plight of investment bankers. Billie Piper, guys. Billie Piper. Looks like she's going to be the next Doctor Who. Which is quite exciting. Good on you, Billie. In the very unlikely event that you're watching the show. Yeah, Billie Piper. How about that shit? I saw a great meme about this the other day. Where it kind of referenced how incensed Laurence Fox has always been about how woke Doctor Who had become in recent years in his eyes. I don't know if you saw the meme that was doing around. And it's like, how it was Jodie Whittaker before. And so he was really angry, apparently, that he didn't want it to be a woman. It's not supposed to be a woman. It's a man. What's with all this woke gender fluidity stuff? Doctor Who is supposed to be a man. He doesn't sound like that, obviously. I'm just, And then it was this chap recently, Nkuti Gatwa. And supposedly, according to the meme, Laurence Fox didn't want it to be a black gay guy. Nkuti Gatwa. So he had a problem with it being a woman, a problem with it being a black gay guy. And Laurence Fox is already the weirdest, angriest, most divorced man in Britain. So then the third picture along in this meme was him reacting to who is now. And it's like Laurence Fox when it's a woman. He's like Laurence Fox when it's a black gay guy. And then he's like, and it's like Laurence Fox when it's like your ex-wife. And he's like, ah! I love it. Love a good meme. So I do. And this is announced in Pride Month, which of course he loves. He loves Pride, doesn't he? Loves going out into his little courtyard garden, setting fire to the rainbow flags. So this news happening in Pride Month. It's not really the best news for Laurence Fox this week, is it? How do we think he's coping? How do we think Larry is handling it? I mean, it must be exhausting being Laurence Fox. Every fucking day. You got to wake up and be Laurence Fox again. You know, you got to wake up, climb your ass out of bed. You got to be angry about rainbow flags again. But there's gay people out there, guys. There's gay people out there and they're having sex with each other. And they're celebrating their freedom and having a party. They're having a good time. They're laughing and loving one another. And you have to spend your whole day mad about... Oh, must be exhausting, man. And then you turn on the TV, you know, take your mind off it. And Doctor Who is being played by somebody that you don't like, that you don't approve of. Or, you know, a woman is just going about her business, you know, on the TV or at an event, and you have to find some way to humiliate her, like, right? Whether that's Ava Evans or, you know, somebody else. Like, it must be one thing to be a failed actor in an industry full of failed actors and have to deal with that amidst all of the other shit that you're inexplicably, endlessly irate about on a daily basis. Like, it must be hard to kind of handle that. I'm a failed actor and I'm angry about all of this other shit. But to be that, and then on top of that, you're a failed actor from a family dynasty of successful actors, just dripping with privilege. Like, that must be hard. That must be exhausting too. And every time you get the cameras on you and a boom mic ready to record your thoughts and feelings about stuff, every time you try to take a stand against something, no matter how ridiculous it might be, a rainbow flag, Doctor Who, every time you try to take a stand or voice your feelings, you get amped up and buoyed and supported and intoxicated by bots on Twitter. Amping you up, bigging you up, going, yeah, go on, Larry. Go on, you show him. You say whatever's on your mind. Free speech. You're a free speech hero, Larry. You take him all the way to court. You've got a solid case. I'm definitely a lawyer, and I'm telling you over Twitter on DM that you could win this case. You could trust me, bruv. All of these bots. And then every time you do take it to court, you lose so fucking badly. Really badly. And humiliatedly, if that's even a word. Whether it's that Mukhtar case, when Mukhtar called him a racist and Laurence Fox said, you better take that back. And he went, go suck your mama. The Laurence Fox sued him, lost. Whether it's that case or the people that he called pedophiles. Do you remember that one? And they sued him because it's defamatory. Both of those cases he lost. Or this new upskirting trial. Upcoming, guys. Where he allegedly shared an image of Narinder Kaur online, which if he loses, I mean, it is literally a sex offense. Isn't it? Like, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. You could say, like, if he loses this trial, which he might not. Honestly, I don't know. If he loses it, though, he will be a convicted. So, like, like, we could reasonably say at this stage, if the cards fall right, we could potentially be adding sex offender to his list of attributes soon, couldn't we? We'd, like, alongside, like, failed husband, divorcee, failed actor, failed singer, failed politician. In fact, his company, I don't know if you're aware of this, so says accountant sleuth Dan Needle. His company, the Reclaim Party Limited, not to be confused with Reform Party, which is Farage and Tice, obviously. But Laurence Fox's company, the Reclaim Party Limited, is apparently, according to Dan Needle, about to be struck off by Companies House. Fired TV presenter on top of all of that. And now potentially, sex offender. We could bookend it. Just like all of that together, guys, is what we could be looking at soon every time he's introduced on stage for something. Divorcee, failed actor, sacked presenter, and sex offender. It's a hell of a tagline for a Fringe show, isn't it? We should say, actually, you know, whilst we're talking about all of this stuff, we should say all of that, no doubt, is denied by Laurence Fox. He is 100% not a convicted sex offender at this time. I'm just saying he could be. It is possible that it could be the next entry on his CV. Which, you know, I mean, it sounds like I'm kicking a man while he's down, doesn't it? But, you know, weirdly, that doesn't have to be a downside. Like, it could be, the sex offender part could be, or would be, actually an achievement, wouldn't it, were he to be convicted? Because it's like, you know, the other stuff is all things that he's failed at, isn't it? Failed singer, failed actor, failed politician. But, like, at least with the sex offender thing, he would have actually achieved it, right? Like, if he were convicted of those charges that he no doubt denies, then that would be the one thing that he had achieved. Anyway, let's change the subject. So, I've got a weird story for you tonight. A weird news story to round us off this evening. I'll just check back in on the live chat. Did I miss anything? Bankers with retention problems need a prostate exam, says questionable absanity with regards to the JP Morgan one. Bankers with retention problems need a prostate exam. Slightly confused. Do you know that's the second super chat tonight, and both times it's been something sort of vaguely alluding to prodding in the manhole, hasn't it? Up the sin hole. Is this my new brand? Is this my new thing? It's like every time somebody drops a super chat, we have to somehow talk about fingering an arsehole. Some weird sort of metaphorical allusion to, you know, prodding my staff. Prodding me up the staff. Is that... Some people get badger emojis. Some people get just, you know, supportive comments. Super chat, super thanks very much for the content aid. Not me. That's not what we're about on this show. I've made it perfectly clear since day dot. The only super chats I want are some vague references to me being fingered up the starfish. That's all I need. That's the only ones that will be accepted. Thank you, questionable insanity. Insight 80s just dropped one. £1.99. Thank you. You didn't leave a comment though. Should we get onto the weird news story? Insight 80 says, Happy Pride Month, Aid. Thank you, man. Thank you. Let's get on to a weird news story for you guys. Try and get your head around it, as indeed I did earlier today. This is from the New York Post. I found this one. Florida man. Of course it's a Florida man. Got to be a Florida man story, hasn't it? Meth-crazed Florida man is bitten by alligator. Charges at cops with garden shears before he's shot dead in a wild series of events, right? Okay. So I know we've been holding out on the weird news stories of late, but don't worry. Obviously this is back now. It's a nice little feature for you that we should now be revisiting. And given the absence of weird news stories over the last couple of weeks, I've got you covered at all angles. Guys, it's in Florida. It's got meth. It's got alligators. It's got a guy running at cops, holding a crude weapon. Fucking garden shears. Charging at cops with garden shears. And it's got gun-happy cops shooting a man dead who they presumably could have just disabled and got him some help and some support. Like, it's all there. You got everything. I've covered you from all bases. Guys, I better just check the old super chats. I've seen a bunch fly in there. Alistair Kerr. Sorry. I keep calling you Alistair because it's like Alistair Kerr. Like, I messes with my phonetics a bit. Sorry. Alistair Kerr says, sounds some fun, Zaid. Keep up with the excellent work. Thank you, man. Richard Marsden says, product idea, Booge Lube. I mean, it's, I'm not writing it off. This is a tough game. It's hard to make money out of doing online content, doing live streams, putting out paper reviews and such. If Booge Lube was the thing that made me my first million, I wouldn't rule it out. I am this close to doing butt videos and feet videos on OnlyFans. You just gotta, you gotta give the people what they want. And if you got it, flaunt it. And baby, I have got it in spades. No, I'm not getting it out here. You're just gonna have to wait for the OnlyFans, lads. Be a real fucking bummer, wouldn't it, if I resorted to OnlyFans? If I looked at that like the last branch on my way down, falling from the tree, like, at least I've got OnlyFans. And then you set up an account. You start posting pictures of your ass and your feet. This is humiliating. I feel like I'm selling off my last shreds of dignity here. But if this is what it takes, to supplement the podcast, to supplement the stuff that I'm actually interested in, then yeah, okay. I'm willing to do it to feed my family and, be a real bummer if you finally begrudgingly went along with it. And still it brought in no money. If it was still like, it's people like scanning and swiping and like, I don't know. I think I can find better. Even the last branch down is like, no, not you. No. Anyway, let's go back to the weird news story, shall we? A meth-crazed... Sorry, I'll start again. A meth-crazed... I've just seen another super chat, sorry. Enzo the God says, I won't be leaving a comment. Even though Enzo has left the comment in the super chat. I'm feeling the irony. The self-referent... Oh, it's clever. Clever stuff. A meth-crazed Florida man survived getting bitten by an alligator just to be fatally shot when he charged at cops who were trying to help him. Okay. So they were trying to help him. And he ran at them. Although, that's what they would say, isn't it? Like, are we sure they didn't just shoot him? Are we sure... he was a bit annoying. He was causing them problem. They just shot him. And then when the internal affairs guy turned up, then they're like, we was trying to help the guy. We was trying to help him. It was an accident. My butterfingers, I accidentally shot him while I was trying to help him. The internal affairs guy's like, you shot him 37 times in the head and then ran him over twice. There's witnesses saying that you were laughing and drinking while you were doing it. The guy's like, I didn't say it wasn't funny. I said I was I didn't say I didn't find it hilarious. It says, the wild scenes erupted after Timothy Schultz, 42, was spotted swimming in an alligator-infested lake in Lakeland. Pretty good branding there. Alligator-infested lake in Lakeland. And this was south of Orlando early Monday, authorities said. Schultz, who cops said was high on drugs, had growled at Good Samaritans trying to toss him a life vest in the lake just moments before one of the gators bit his right arm. Wow. And he was growling at the help on offer. I mean, there's not Laurence Fox vibes to this, is there? You know, like I feel like Laurence Fox's career for the last decade has just been one long cry for help. Just flailing around in the alligator-infested lake. And people have probably reached out to him. You know, but he just growls back at them, growls at the help. When people are like, Laurence, can you please, can you just close the laptop, put down your phone, stop burning the rainbow flags out in your courtyard? You look like an insane person. Laurence, can you calm it down? Have you taken your pills? Do you need me to pick up the prescription for you? I reckon there's been people who've tried to help him. He just wakes up fifth gear anger mode every day. It's gay people. Rainbows. You know, people turn up his house, try to help him, throw him a life vest. He just shoos it away. Gets nipped at and bitten by the alligators of life and politics and society. Like this guy in the news story that we're talking about, the actual guy, this guy's tragic end is a metaphor for Laurence Fox's actual life. Anyway, let's continue. So he's in the lake. He's high as fuck. People are trying to save him. They're trying to throw him a life vest. And it says, the fact he was bitten by an alligator and still continued his rampage is shocking, the county sheriff Grady Judd said. I mean, have you guys ever heard, people in the live chat, have you guys ever heard, ever hurt even, sorry. Have you guys ever hurt yourself when you're drunk or when you're on something? When you got nostrils full of fucking concrete gack. Have you ever, like, injured yourself? Like, it's armor. It's armor when you're that intoxicated. So it's not that, you know. She says she was shocked. I'm not that surprised. Anyway, let's continue. It says, the fact he was bitten by an alligator and still continued his rampage is shocking. But if you're high enough on meth... Oh, well, there we go. She's like, well, you know, if you're high enough on meth, I mean, you're not really going to feel it, right? So she's on the level. She gets it. The horror only continued when Schultz suddenly emerged from the lake soon after being bitten and grabbed a pair of garden shears from a nearby home, authorities said. And as deputies arrived on the scene, Schultz then charged at them with the shears. I've got a video here about a guy talking about it. Check this.
Apparently he was attacked by an alligator while in the lake as well. He was walking from the lake and he had a set of garden shears with him. He immediately charged the deputies, but our deputies tried to de-escalate. We also tried to tase him. He climbed into the passenger side of the patrol vehicle, which was still running. He was trying to either get the rifle or the shotgun out of its holder. At that time, our deputies shot. They shot multiple times.
So, like, he gets bitten by an alligator, and then it says in the article he gets tasered twice with no effect. That's no effect on him. They tasered him. And he's got a chunk out of his arm, I guess. And then he climbs into the cop car. He reaches for the guns, and that's when they shoot him. It's game over. So, yeah, how about that shit? Bitten by an alligator. Tasered twice. Body full of toxins. Still standing. And fighting police with fucking garden shears and shit, you know? Like the comments on this thing are all like, you know, he should have got some help, and you know, he was only let out of county jail 3 weeks earlier. He should have been offered support, and you know, that's true, obviously. You know, people like this should get help. They should get sober. They should get back on their feet. And ideally get a job that they can be dragged into the office unnecessarily and disrespected at. I mean, that's the American dream, right? But is it really bad if my first reaction when I see this story and people saying, like, he should have been in rehab, I'm like, no, he should have been in the MMA or something. Like, he should have been in mixed martial arts or like WWF wrestling. This guy's unstoppable is what he is. Like, I'm not a martial arts guy, okay? You've probably figured that out. Obviously, I'm not into wrestling or any of that Joe Rogan Fight Club nonsense. But I think it's undeniable here. It's like, you know, if you could get knocked down that brutally by an alligator and a tasers twice, if you could get knocked down again and again and keep getting back up, guys, I mean, you are either. Like, this is when you know that you are not cut out for hard living. You know, this is when I realized that. You know, I'm not cut out for fighting. I'm just too delicate for this world. Guys, this is how you know, is I go for a paddle in the Atlantic, you know, down in Bournemouth, Cornwall, wherever. I go for a paddle in the Atlantic, and if seaweed brushes up against my ankles, I am like, that is it, I'm done. I can't handle this. That is my day ruined. Like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I just want to go back to the hotel. Is the spa open? The spa's not open. It's not. What about the bar? Is the bar's open? Okay. Great. Well, I'll be in the bar then. But don't tell my boss. Don't tell my boss, because I'm supposed to be working today. This is a work from home day for me, and he'll only be upset. This is how you know that you're not meant for this world. Is that would ruin my day? That would ruin my whole weekend, just paddling in the Atlantic like that? Meanwhile, this motherfucker gets bitten by an alligator and he's still fighting fit, guys. He didn't need rehab. He needed a career in the MMA. Is what we can glean from this. Right, guys, that's it for this one. We're meeting up tomorrow, aren't we? Patreons, channel members, people of the Booge. It's a Patreon meetup, a periodical grouping of people with similar sensibilities. We're meeting up in East London tomorrow at 2 o'clock. If you are signed up to the Patreon or a member of the YouTube channel, you are cordially invited to East London tomorrow. There is a post on Patreon and on YouTube restricted to channel members and Patreons. So you will be able to see it if you log on there, and it gives you the location, and I will be there probably about 5 to 2. I don't know what time. Yeah, but that's where we'll be. So we got that coming up. If you're not on the Patreon or the channel membership yet, do consider it. It starts at only £1 a month, and for that you get episodes of the podcast 2 days before everybody else, before it emerges in final form on Spotify and Apple. You also get access to the Discord chat where myself, Richard Marsden, Diz, Mojo Sabian, Peter Del Monte, Richard Marsden. There's a bunch of us in there every day. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Jim Speaks in there too. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Hazel Hunt's in there too. Stu, Yuri is in there. So jump on there. You also get a shout out at the beginning. Where's the Patreon list? Here we go. List of Patreon names. If you are of a certain tier, if you keep like upsizing, upscaling, then you can have like a Skype 1-to-1 with me. Or if you're local to me, I don't mind going out and meeting for a beer or something. I say meeting for a beer, guys. I am tiptoeing around the possibility of falling spectacularly off the wagon tomorrow. So if you would like to see a 44-year-old man who has not had any alcohol for almost a year now attempt to consume an alcoholic beverage or three, that may well happen tomorrow. I'm not sure. It's in my mind. Like, I'm really tempted. So we'll see. Anyway, there's a bunch of benefits on the Patreon and the YouTube stuff. So if you're enjoying the podcast and the paper reviews, do consider it. If not, all I ask is that you share me around. Take a link, copy a link to a clip or an episode that has resonated with you and send it off to a friend or an enemy. Honestly, I don't care. Just share me around like the cheap tart that I am. But yeah, that's it for the podcast proper. Should we wind it down to a lock-in? Should we do a bit of Q&A? Let's do a bit of Q&A, shall we? And should we check the poll? Let's check the poll, man. So every time that we do a podcast now on YouTube, a live stream, I put a poll up. And I ask people if they have shared the stream on their socials or if they've done something embarrassing. And today's was, have you shared the stream yet? Yes, because Booge for Life Aid, or no, I fuck goats aid. And I'm sorry to say, there's a bunch of goat fuckers in here. 60% voted no, I fuck goats. Like, what are you playing at, guys? Ashley Wilson's just dropped a super chat. What's up, Ashley? Can't make it to London, so see you later, alligator. Ha ha! Nice pun. Nice reference. Did I forget any, Richard Marsden dropped another super chat. I'm so sorry. Right, here we go. When you want to widen the circle of your friends, choose Booge Lube. When you want to widen the circle of your friends, choose Booge Lube. Yes, another reference to my starfish there. Anyway, so should we wind it down to the lock-in? Let's do it. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, then we will catch up with all of you later. Peace out. Right, let's do it. Let's bring this down to the goddamn lock-in. All right. I can stop recording now, can't I? How are we doing, guys? What's going on?